the GamerCast and publishes on podcast and youtube.com/Yumi Capri. Every single Monday, patrons get it first. Thank you guys for subscribing, hitting the like button, leaving some sweet engagement juice over on the YouTube channel, for telling your mom, for telling your dad, for telling your dad's dad, for telling your dad's brother and cousin, and leaving a note in the mailbox for them to listen to We the GamerCast. The sharing. That's what that bit is about. It's about you like sharing because we don't have an advertising budget. Welcome to We the GamerCast. I wanted to let out a good one today because last week was no good. I've been feeling like garbage for a month. I'm still not 100%. I might have a couple like throat clears here and there, but I feel great. I hope you guys are feeling great as well. I'm stoked that you're here. I'm stoked that you're going to listen to a salt of the earth, a slice of life kind of podcast here with TruckerSloth. We've got lots to talk to you guys about. Goodness gracious. I feel awesome. Oh my gosh, that just, as soon as it hit, I'm like, that's the first take. It's the only take that we need. I have a couple things I want to tell you guys about, and then we're going to get right into it because, man, what a time to be alive, you guys. It's, I'm glad I woke up. The sun was shining today. I was able to get rid of some ice. My entire driveway is a complete sheet of ice, and I've been able to make it about 80% safer, but man, so many things going on. I want to quickly thank Mr. Tony Baker for becoming the latest person to upgrade his Patreon support to gold member status, because we love gold, and I announced, I think kind of jokingly, but almost seriously, on the Xbox Drive last week. I said, if we hit some ridiculous number, I think we were talking about the $70 billion acquisition of Microsoft buying Activision. And I'm like, well, if we can do like $1 billion or 70 billion, I can't remember what the number was. We'll do a Big Brother version. We'll run our own reality TV show. So that is up there. That goal is actually at patreon.com/Yumi Capri. You can check it out. And I'm pretty sure that's what Tony Baker did. And he's gotten us that much closer to our goal. And truth be told, Ryan doesn't want me to say this, but we'll do it for less. If there's some interest in Ryan and I buying a house somewhere, or even renting it out for like a summer and outfitting it with a whole bunch of cameras, and then hiring a crew to record the every move of the participants. And by the way, you guys would be the participants. So the community, the listeners of the shows, all the people will throw you in a house. You'll compete. You will deceive. You will outwit, outmatch, outlast. I'm mixing my reality TV shows, but that's okay. We'll have to hire some sort of like Julie Chen, but not really Julie Chen. Or who's the guy on Survivor? I've watched countless seasons of Survivor. Jeff something? I'm not sure. But man, wouldn't that be amazing? How has nobody thought of this before? How am I, I gotta come up with everything, man. This would be amazing. So, new Patreon goal. We'll get a house. We'll take care of all the things. You guys compete. The rest of us will watch. We'll be entertained by whatever nastiness happens within that house. And we'll throw up a nice big prize. So, patreon.com/Yumi Capri. Special thanks to our Capremium producers, Dallas Ford, Lee Navarro, the fearless leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team, and Johnathan Brown, the man behind the music on the Xbox Drive and the Nintendo Drive. Please support Johnathan Brown by downloading his new album, In My Element, on Spotify, Apple Music, and a whole bunch of other places. Links are in the show notes. Our platinum producers, Robbie Bobby Miller, and today's guest, TruckerSloth. And our gold members, in addition to Tony Baker, Argo, Brendan Myers, Dallas Robbins, Dano, Emily O'Kelly, Foolish Fuji, why did I say that way? Fulia. Thank you. Joel Brooks, Jose Jimenez, Mac Time, Marcus O'Neill, Mr. and Mrs. Nasty Boots, RJ Kern, Skitty Matt, and Xavier Reyes. Please, patreon.com/Yumi Capri. We're busting our tail. We're making our greatest content. You guys continue to uplift me, and I'm feeling it, man. I'm feeling it. I hope you guys are doing good. What else do I want to tell you about? One other thing before we get into it. The BackTrackers. It's a video game book club. The Discord is free to join. Jump on into the Discord. The BackTrackers is what it's called. The next game that the group is playing is Boyfriend Dungeon. This is also on Game Pass. It's available on a whole bunch of different consoles. The next meetup is on Saturday, February 5th, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You don't have to be a patron to be part of the Discord. I'm telling you guys, magic is happening in the Discord. I've been saying this a couple times as I do this, a little out of breath, but yesterday I did 20 minutes of yoga. I think actually right after this, I might do a couple, maybe 20 minutes of yoga as well. I have to tell you, because after about a month of feeling not so good and really trying to treat myself well and deal with it the best way that I can, which is to rest. Like, I feel like that's kind of what everybody says to do, and I rarely do it. I have been resting, but now I'm all pent up, man. You can, if you can translate what you're hearing, this energy, this like, I'm screaming at you this entire time for what is this, like 10 minutes straight, 5 minutes. Oh man, time's moving like even weird for me. It's only 6 minutes in. All of this, like the built up stuff that you're hearing me, I want to just like go outside and get active, man. Like, let's get after it, dude. So, but I want to be careful because that's how I get hurt. So I'm going to stretch it out. I could feel I just need to limber up a little bit. So that's kind of where I'm at. I hope you guys have had a great first month of the year, dude. Holy crap. And also, before we get into the conversation with TruckerSloth, I saw two people, it's Sunday as I record this, I saw two people say that they finished Pokemon. And speaking of time travel or time like dilation or whatever, did that game not just come out on Friday, you guys? Like, I'm still learning. I'm still like, they're still teaching me things. I think I know how to craft, and I crossed the bridge that they were really nervous to let me cross. And yeah, people are done, and I'm still kind of like learning about this thing. I can't wait to talk to Kato about it on the Nintendo Drive. Check more out there. And again, there's a bunch of stuff I want to tell you guys. The other thing I want to say before I get into it, just start a little fire here. You guys can leave comments on the YouTube channel or jump on into the Discord. I think I need to declare this. I'm playing God of War on PC right now, the God of War, the 2018 God of War, and I'm not done it yet. So look forward to Matt from the PlayStation Drive and we're going to do an extra mile conversation on this thing. I think I'm on track to finishing it by the end of the week, but at this point in time, here's how I feel about it. I think this game is better than The Last of Us 2. This game might be one of, it's not even, I'm not even like giving you guys like the latest, like groundbreaking kind of take here. Like, you've all heard this before, but I finally have joined the party that God of War that released on PS4 that is now on PC. That's one of the best games ever crafted, man. I am completely in love with this game to the point where I might just like introduce TruckerSloth here, close out the outro, pop this thing over to the podcast feeds and to the Patreons so that I can just go play this game until I need to close my eyes and return back to work for the weekend. But goodness gracious, God of War, I am loving it. Stay tuned on Twitter and in the Discord for where you can find more thoughts there. We got lots to talk about. February's here, goodness gracious. Pokemon, all the games. We are in full review. It feels like holidays all over again, man. It feels like Christmas. All the games are coming, and it's a great time to be talking about video games. So why don't we talk about life, actually? We'll jump on in with TruckerSloth. You hear me give him a shout-out every week here as a platinum producer. He's now on the show. By the way, it's a perk of the patrons. They get front-of-the-line access, man. So you guys jump on in here. TruckerSloth is a dedicated supporter and an absolutely stand-up guy. I can't wait for you guys to enjoy this conversation with TruckerSloth. Graphic tees, I don't know about you, but like I get kind of picky about my graphic tees. Mm-hmm. It's got to be like, I don't know, like if it feels like crunchy plastic on it, that's no good. If it's like sticky, like that looks like the good kind. I can tell.
Yeah, it's from Big and Tall store. I can't wait till I can stop shopping from there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you're gonna do it, man. It's coming.
I'm trying. Hopefully, I'm getting there.
Have they moved anything?
Nope. It's February 8th. I actually had a weigh-in today because during the holidays, Amy got COVID. And we were in quarantine for a while, and I'm not a cook, so
neither am I, dude. Oh my god.
We were. I can barbecue.
Yeah,
but I get lost in the kitchen. I mean, like I can't find pots or pans. I'm like, where is this shit? So we were doing some ordering out, and then the holidays hit, and everybody's like, oh, this is your last Christmas. You know, you gotta have the pies and you gotta have the cookies and. I ended up gaining 13 pounds.
Yeah, it's not hard, is it?
No, evidently not.
Yeah.
But I ended up going in for a weigh-in right after the holidays, like January 13th.
Yeah.
And they're like, holy crap. They're like, you gained 13 pounds. They said, if you go into the surgeon, they could literally like cancel the procedure right then and there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you're not supposed to gain any weight on this program.
I mean, I guess that makes sense.
So I buckled down, and I had a weigh in today, and I actually lost 20 pounds. So I
Good
was actually lighter
God.
than I was normally.
Yeah. Well,
So
you had a bit of
from
a.
the 13th until today, I lost 20 pounds.
That is
So,
insane, man. How did you find that? Was that pretty difficult?
I have like this Berry-tastic app, it's called. And
Okay.
I found that as long as you're logging what you're eating,
Yeah.
and it shows you the calories, it keeps you accountable.
Yeah. Isn't that wild, man?
See, after Amy got COVID, I was like, YOLO.
Yeah.
I stopped using
Dude, that was me
thing.
over to the holidays, big time, man.
And it's like I ate and ate. It's like, yeah, but the way people are like, oh, this is your last Christmas. And I got to thinking, I'm like, I'm not dying.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Let's clarify a little bit.
It's not like I have some horrible disease that they gave me 6 months to live. I think I got.
I'm like, that's what we're saying to our dogs.
Yeah, exactly. And I got it's all about the mindset.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
well, in a certain sense,
I stopped.
and everything seemed to turn out for the best, or turned out okay. Like it could have been, they really could have. Sounds like they could have taken
I was
off.
scared. I was pretty scared. I was like, I do not want to go through all this last 6 months and then end up having to cancel everything.
Yeah. Because what's the journey been like? Like the 6 months, has it been, I imagine there's been something even before that, like to get to this point that you're going to be looking at. And what is it called again? What's the procedure called?
It's called bariatric surgery. I'm having a sleeve.
Yep.
They're going to pull my stomach out and they're going to cut. I want to say it's like most stomachs are like the size of a football.
Okay.
If not bigger.
Yeah.
They're going to take it down to the size of a banana.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And they put titanium staples in there.
Yeah.
To seal it back up. And then you will go, you can have like 2 to 3 ounces in their stomach at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have one bite more than you should have, it's either going to stay in there and it's going to stretch your stomach out and it's going to be severely painful,
mm-hmm.
or it's going to come straight back out.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Just changes the whole physics of it.
Yeah. One of my best friends and his wife both had it a couple years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know. We went camping with him this summer.
Yeah.
And seen him. And his wife actually said that she goes, if you eat too much, she actually said she equates it to child labor as far as pain goes. Because it's full. I mean, your stomach is stretched out to begin with.
Yeah.
And then they take it down to that size again.
Yeah.
And then you overeat and it will literally stretch it back out. It'll be so painful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because, you got to figure you've already taken out a lot of the elasticity by cutting it out like that.
Are you, man, I have so many questions for you, if that's okay, about all this.
Yeah, fine.
Would you, if you could, would you want to see like a video review or video recording of it? Like, would you want to see them do this to you? Obviously, you'll be asleep.
After I woke up, because it's weird. I've lived all over the country and I grew up working on a farm part-time. And I worked on at a farrowing barn is what it's called. It's where you breed the pigs.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd breed them and you'd take care of the little ones until they get to a certain age, then you'd ship them out. And I've seen a lot of stuff. I can do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I've hunted, I fished. Mm-hmm. I know what it's like to take a life.
Yeah. Of an animal.
To go through the whole process. Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Jesus, this took a turn. Oh my gosh, Chelsea, I need help. This dude on the internet just told me knows what it's like to take a life. This is where it all ends. This is where it all ends. This guy knows where I live.
Yeah. Let me clarify. An animal.
Of an animal.
Yeah. But when it comes to like explaining that stuff to me, it's I get queasy.
Yeah, because it's you. Yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean, my ex-wife was a nurse, or is a nurse, I guess.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of time working in what's the word I'm looking for? Volunteering at the old folks home she worked at. There was dementia patients and all this and that. And some of the stuff you'd walk in there and it's just like, what is going on here?
No doubt.
It takes, I mean, I can't stand her because she's my ex-wife, honestly.
Obviously.
But I give any nurse, anybody that works in that kind of medical field,
day in, day out. Are you kidding
because
me?
I can't. It's something I can't do.
No,
I
I'm
have no
with
problem
you, man.
volunteering and doing stuff, playing board games, watching them play the Wii,
Yeah.
back in the day, golfing and all that stuff. But it's just, I can't. That's something. Truck driving and medical field are like two very highly classified, specialized walks of life.
Yeah, no doubt, man. So you talked about how this is like a bit of a 6-month journey. I imagine, is that when you basically decided that this was a thing that you're going to be looking to do, or like what's the journey like?
I've been wanting to do it for years.
Yeah.
And my fiance was like against it. She's like, "Oh, it's you're quitting and blah blah blah, this and that. It's the other ways to do it."
Yeah.
And I agree with her to a point.
Sure.
I mean, I'd lost over 100 pounds right before COVID hit.
Yeah.
I got down to under 300 pounds. And then COVID hit, and then they shut everything down.
How did you do that? How did you lose that weight, and how did you feel?
Planet Fitness.
Oh, really?
And Planet Fitness, and we were doing keto.
Oh, wow. Yeah, man. Did that just go away? Is keto still around? Are people still doing keto?
Keto's still around. That's actually part of what I'm doing here. It's a lot of
no
carbs, no carbs, high protein.
That's what I would do. I could get on board with keto, I think.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
kale. Say you're not supposed to do it a long time. Not really. A lot of meat.
Yeah, I could just do meat. Just give me like meat sweats all day long. I'll do that.
Sausage, bacon, and
you just hamburger. Get full really quickly. Is that the idea? Like you just
pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, like we would do. We buy special noodles if I want noodles.
Sure. Yeah.
We can get special fajita like soft taco shells. This stuff's really pricey because it's lower carb, like seriously low carb, like a third of the carbs we get normally.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, or it's like you go to Wendy's and you order a double keto style.
Oh, and I didn't even know this was an option.
Yeah, instead of a bun,
they
give you 2 big pieces of lettuce.
Oh, yes.
For your bun, and you hold it there, and it's sloppy as shit.
Yeah, well, Chelsea would get that for burgers as well for gluten free. They would say, I guess same idea, maybe 2 different reasons for it, but yeah, same idea. Yeah, those lettuce wrapped burgers they're definitely messy, man. But I could look into something like that. I mean, if I'm gonna go to McDonald's doesn't do this though. I got to tell you, I don't think so. I guess I haven't really asked, but
I'm sure if you ask, they probably have some sort of
I'm just on my Diet Coke diet, man. That's it.
I gave up pop a while ago. I used to be a big Mountain Dew drinker.
Oh my gosh. I remember the first time I had Mountain Dew, I thought it was like not even fair. And like, I don't know, maybe some people don't like Mountain Dew, but like we didn't have like treats at all growing up. Like we were just like, our cereal was Cheerios and Shreddies. And I don't even know how many of those are only in Canada or whatever. But the thing is, my parents would always like say that it was for like health reasons, but it was just because it was the cheaper cereal. It was dirt cheap cereal because they had no problem with us dumping like sugar. On top of it. He would all settle to the bottom. My brother would scoop it up at the end.
Yeah, exactly. You get the Cheerios and like you're spreading sugar. It doesn't look like there's anything on there because it's not sticking.
Exactly. So it was a lot of fun.
The trick is to stick your spoon all the way down, gouge out a pound of sugar, and when you're coming up, you grab a couple Cheerios and you just eat
that's terrible. Like that's actually like it makes my like teeth. It feels like my teeth are gonna like fall out as I'm remembering this because that was a very real thing. And I call BS.
All kids went through that.
Well, I'm glad that makes me feel a little bit better. I think because it's like a little embarrassing.
You drink the milk and then like you see like that brown or like sludge, something with sugar.
Well, and we had like clear glass bowls too. Like we would even have like so you could see it just like settle. You could see a ring at the bottom. You could just see it all settle, just this sediment of sugar, brown. Because we would do brown sugar as well, which I found out later was
really
weird. Yeah, exactly.
I used to do that on oatmeal, but I've never used it on cereal.
We just put it on everything. Like we just had
unless it was like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and then it's like
with more sugar.
Yeah.
Just keep dumping it in here. I wonder if this is helpful right before everything's going on here. Okay, so what were you doing at Planet Fitness?
Everything. I had I had the top tier, so I got access to the personal trainer.
Yeah, good for you.
And he set
you're
me
in
up
it,
with,
man. That's like commitment, dude.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I loved it. I've always been a physical guy.
Mm-hmm.
I played football.
Yeah.
I ran track in high school. Shot put discus. We did the 100 meter, 200 meter. We had a shot put relay team, mile relay team.
Yeah.
You know, so we do a quarter mile around the track, you know, and we'd run 3 miles a day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's no joke. Every day, that's unreal. Yeah.
No, we'd had 2-a-day practices for track, and we'd do a mile and a half in the morning, mile and a half at night. If you were long distance, obviously you did longer because you needed the stamina. But I was
when I was in school, that was long distance. If you did like 5K, like 3K or 3 miles is about 5K. Like if you did that, like that was the long distance runners back when I was.
Yeah, well, we had the guys that would if that's what that was their specialty, they'd do like 3 or 4 miles in the morning and 3 or 4 miles at night.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
and then we had PE2, which our track and assistant football coach was also our gym teacher.
Yeah.
So we had PE2 class, which was weightlifting. So,
oh, wow.
You know, I mean, I was working out 3 or 4 times a day.
How big was your school? Like, how many people were there? Because, like, I went to a small school. We didn't have any of this stuff. There was like a field.
I went to a small country school.
Oh, wow.
High school.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm all this stuff. I graduated with like 3rd and 4th generation families.
Oh, wow.
That grew up together.
Yeah.
You know, like my great grandparents lived there, but they built the church in our town.
That's awesome.
You know, so I mean, it's like a very, very small knit community.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, there was 3-4 generations of families.
That's
everybody
unreal.
knew everybody.
Yeah.
I got pulled over one time leaving high school, and by the time I got home, my parents knew about it.
Oh, snap. Yeah.
And this was before cell phones.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, this was like in 96.
And are you not there anymore? Like, you've moved all over? You're nowhere near there now?
I live 120 miles south of there in the Detroit area.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man. So were video games involved back then? Like, I feel as if you can't get them there, but like, when did you get?
Oh no,
get into that?
I grew up all over the country.
Yeah.
My dad worked for GM. He retired from there for skill trades.
Mm-hmm.
But in the early 80s, the auto industry went to hell in a handbasket.
Okay.
So he joined the military.
Yeah.
And we lived out to California for 4 years. We moved back to Michigan. And they had a deal with the union back in the day where if you left because they didn't have work, when you came back, they'd give you work.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing they had available was Tarrytown, New York, where they built the aluminum minivans.
Oh, wow.
So we moved out to New York.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what was California like? How was California?
Loved it.
Did you? Whereabouts?
We lived at a military base around Fisherman's Wharf, around what's that big golf course out there?
Like Palm Springs?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
I don't even know if that's out there, to be honest with
you. Palm Springs is, but no, this is right on the ocean.
Man,
there's a massive golf course out there.
Okay.
Anyway,
below.
It's one of the most famous ones. We lived around there, Fort Worth, California.
Yeah.
So San Francisco Bay Area, kind of.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
A little south of there.
Mm-hmm.
Weather
was moving devastating? Like, you didn't want to move, then you learned to like it. Like what were the detachments from where you were raised?
Back in the 80s, it was different because you didn't have cell phones, you didn't have computers, so keeping in contact was a lot of letter writing.
Oh, okay.
My mom was constantly writing letters.
Yeah.
Back home. And then we get our Christmas packages, usually for our grandparents or something.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ever came and visited us.
Yeah.
Because back then, my grandparents, they still had kids in school.
Oh, wow. Just because they had 14 kids or something?
No, my dad was the oldest boy.
Yeah.
On my dad's side, and his younger brothers were quite a bit younger.
Mm-hmm.
Like my dad's youngest brother is only like 6 or 7 years older than me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
And then my mom's side, she had 2 older brothers, but she had a younger sister that's like 10 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
So, a couple oopsies, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
But they still had kids in school, so I mean, they're relatively young.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was weird. California was awesome. I loved it. Growing up, we'd send pictures, we'd take Christmas pictures and send them back home to the family. Like, we're all in like tank tops and shorts in the middle of December. And they got like friggin' 2 feet of snow up in Michigan. And
you knew it too. You knew what you left.
Oh yeah. Well, I was like 5, 6 years old.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Okay. So you probably don't even really have too many memories before that, really.
Well, it's kind of morbid. My earliest memory when I was like 4, I think, was when my mom's father's funeral.
Yeah.
But
I have a similar thing like that too.
I
I remember my mom's dad passed away before any of us were born, and my mom's mom remarried shortly after that, or at some point after that. So the person she remarried to was the only like sort of grandparent I knew on that side.
Yeah.
But I remember him passing away, and it was probably about the same age. Honestly, it was probably about 4. Like, it was one of my first memories, and it was a big deal because we got on a plane to go to the funeral, and like I remember, it's so weird. I want to like look at it. This is something very verifiable because like he passed away. Like this, I can actually look this up, and I could find out how old I would have been. But I remember my parents telling me that he went up to heaven to go to sleep, and I remember asking like, when is he gonna wake up? You know, like I remember it'd be like having it was a very childish, very like innocent kind of like response to it. And I remember now growing up many years later and going like, I realized what my parents were trying to do by like kind of being like they were telling me like that he went up to heaven. That's great. Like, but I didn't understand what the heck that meant. I didn't understand what it meant to be just going to sleep. And I also didn't understand like why everyone was so sad. But I remember all of that, man. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I want to look that up now.
Yeah. See, I got pretty lucky with that deal. Up until a couple years ago now, I hadn't lost another grandparent.
Oh wow, yeah.
My mom's mom, or my dad's mother, recently passed away. So my youngest, Harper, I think she was like 3, and now every time she goes by a cemetery, she's like, "Yeah, that's where my grandma lives."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So she's going through that now.
Yeah.
But my mom's mom, my birthday's April 19th, and my mom's mom, my grandma Turk, her birthday's, we share the same birthday. Well, my dad's mother, my other grandma, passed away on my birthday.
A
couple years ago. So it's like it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
You know? It's like it was always a special day because my grandmother was the firstborn grandson on both sides.
Yeah.
You know, so my grandma was like, "Oh yeah, we share the same birthday." Well, then my other grandma passed away on my birthday, so it's kind of like,
I mean,
kind of weird.
Part of it is like I think you just have a ton of family, so maybe some of these dates are just gonna like coincide. You know, maybe that's because even what is it? Your dad has the same birthday as Ellie and Halo Day, I think.
November 15th.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, that's wild, dude. I love that. And now at least we can remind each other that maybe, hey. We're supposed to like celebrate at least one thing today. Like, have we forgotten? We can remind ourselves. Yeah. Nice, man. So yeah, you're moving all over like that. I feel like whenever I talk to somebody who's moved kind of like all over the place, you just end up being like super adaptable. Like, do you find yourself you put yourself in a situation I guess I'll handle this?
I can walk into any situation. I'll make friends.
I'll bet. Yeah.
I'm a born leader. I can just I can get along with anybody.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I have absolutely no problems doing that. Because like when I moved out to New York, our school out there, I was still in elementary school when I moved out there. But when I got to junior high, we had like 3,000 kids.
Yeah.
And it was that was like 3 grades.
One of those schools.
And it was massive. It was like 3-4 stories.
Seriously.
You know, I was a nobody out there. It was like I was a minority. It was just really a suburb of New York City. So we weren't in the city, but we were within spitting distance. You know, close enough.
Yeah.
But that's where we well, I was into video games before that because, like I said, like earlier, 2600 and 7800 Atari.
Yeah.
And even before that, we started playing Pong.
Yeah.
And my one great uncle had like a gas station, service station, that deal thing, and he had arcade machines.
That's the best.
So it was like he'd turn them on for me. I didn't have to put quarters in.
That's like
he just flipped the switch. I played Donkey Kong, you know, Space Invaders.
Yeah.
All that stuff there when you're hanging out, you know, getting a deli sandwich, you know, there. But
unlimited arcade, there's nothing like it, man.
No.
Like, you know, and my kids have tablets now and they can get unlimited apps and like they just, this is me, old man, yelling at the clouds. Like, They'll never know, man. We had like unlimited one game. Like we could play Pac-Man like over and over and over again. And it's, oh
Pretty
my
much.
gosh, that is so good. And of course at a gas station, like you just gotta, you gotta park your butt there and spend all your entire summer over and over, same
stool
game.
up there,
Yeah, man.
within walking distance.
Oh, that's the best. That's the best. And like, thank goodness for, I don't know. Maybe sometimes adults were just trying to like keep the kids busy or who knows what, but what they ended up doing, maybe unbeknownst to them, is like just giving us such awesome memories and probably like changing our lives and to a certain extent anyways, in terms of what we're going to be interested in and how we're just going to go about the world. But I don't know, man, I have very similar memories. My dad worked at the Boys and Girls Club here. He was the executive director in the city. And on the weekends, he would just open up the club for us. There was 2 arcades and free Ms. Pac-Man, free, I think it was Circus, I think it was called, some weird arcade thing. Okay. And that was like, if you have unlimited anything and especially for us, like we didn't have like even like limited quantity things. We had like no things, man. So to go from that to like, just park your butt in front of this Ms. Pac-Man thing forever. That was the best. It's awesome.
Ms. Pac-Man was pretty hot when it came out too. I think that was around the time the cartoon was out, wasn't it? Did they have a Pac-Man cereal?
Oh, everything had cereal. Everything had cartoons. Like everything. Was, I don't know if that's the case now. It seems like just.
I think Pac-Man had a cartoon.
Yeah,
and I think Ms. Pac-Man was part of it. It was like a big thing when it came out. I vaguely remember.
I think I had like 6 channels, man. I'm like, I like missed on so much TV back in the day. I remember like, I think I was probably like 12, 13 years old, and I met this kid, and he was like big into watching Sports Center. And I'm like, what's that? Like, I didn't even have like in Canada, it's TSN, the Sports Network. We didn't have ESPN or anything.
Yeah. See, I don't think we had cable.
Yeah.
Well, I remember when my dad was in the military, they had cable out there, but the cable was weird because we had that massive old TV in like that friggin' oak frame.
Same here. You used to sit on that thing, man.
And up until we moved out there, we were the remote controls.
Yep.
You go push the button, and you had like 3 or 4 channels. The rest were all fuzzy.
Yeah.
But they had like one of the first cable setups out there, and it was like a coax screwed in the back of your TV with this long cable, and they had like a brick. They had like faux wood on it, and it had buttons, like big buttons you like push for like each channel. Ka-chunk. It was like boom, ka-chung, ka-chung, and it went through like HBO,
that's pretty
stuff
good.
like that. Back in the day on the military base.
Yeah,
but
that's awesome.
That was one of the few perks they had out there.
Yeah, what else was it like? Like, it wasn't a great time?
It was. The military, especially back then, they didn't pay a whole lot.
Yeah.
There was a lot of buying stuff at the commissary where you'd get like powdered potatoes and powdered milk, a lot of that stuff, like government cheese. You buy everything right there on base, really at a decent price because they didn't pay you a whole lot. So,
was he doing trades for the military, or like
he got in? He started getting in trades there. Yeah, he was the machinist.
That's awesome.
Started learning that stuff. So that way, when he got out, because he had a plan.
Yeah.
When he got out, he wanted to have a skill to at least be able to test into.
Yeah.
Which worked out for him once we got out in New York.
Yeah. Was he always going to be like in California? Was there ever a risk that he'd get deployed or anything like that?
It almost came down to the point where they were talking about Germany.
What?
And they were going to ship him over to Germany, but the thing is that we'd have to stay until they had a place for us in Germany. So we'd be separated. And if we were separated for too long, like if he was in Germany too long before he could secure housing for us, we had to move off the military base. Because like there was a saying back then, and probably still is, if the Army wanted you to have a family, they'd issue you one.
Oh my God, that is so harsh.
Yeah. Well, one of my dad's buddies, his wife was 9 months pregnant, and they had to go play war games out in the middle of the desert with live ammo and stuff. And she went into labor. He didn't get this, and they were gone for like 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
He didn't get to see his kid, and they didn't bring him back in. It was like they were practicing, because luckily it was during peacetime.
I feel like sometimes for people who are maybe outside of those types of situations, you might look at that and go, well, y'all know what you signed up for.
Yeah. Exactly.
Is that the case? Like, I don't know if that's a fair thing to say.
It is and it isn't. I mean, if it's during wartime, it's one thing.
Right.
But I mean, if it's during, and see, even back in the 80s, everybody was much more about a hard case,
Okay.
whereas from what I have been told, obviously I've never been through it myself,
Mm-hmm.
but like your drill sergeants aren't allowed to like smack the crap out of you anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can use words up to a point,
Mm-hmm.
but they can't. And that's what I've been told.
Yeah. No, I think I'm
whether
hearing the
that's
same
true
thing.
or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not there. I haven't lived it, unfortunately. I wanted to serve my country, but I went another route instead.
Yeah. Would you want to fight? Like, you'd want to like grab a gun and
if
like
I had
infantry?
to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
What drives
I
that?
hoped that a sense of we're very. I look at it as we're very lucky here.
Yeah. Yep.
Especially in the U.S., North America in general. I mean,
Yeah.
I think Canada's a pretty peaceful place as well.
Yeah. We just don't talk about all our violence. We just keep it
Yeah.
pretty hush hush. Yeah. Yeah. Like people are out, fighting to the death out in the streets right now. We just don't really.
Yeah.
Fight Club got the rules from Canada,
I
actually.
heard that the murder rate is pretty low in Canada, but the hunting accidents are pretty through the roof.
It's funny. We have a family down the street, like just around the corner, big hunting family, and we're in like just the definition of the suburbs. And so there's this hunting family down around the corner, and they'll come back with their prizes, and just like a head on the driveway, just bleeding down the sidewalk, just like, cool, we're gonna go play Pokemon Go if that's all right. Like that's a corpse basically that you've just got right here, and you're like, maybe you'll get around to hosing it down, I'm sure, but yeah,
next spring.
Yeah. So that's
just
fun.
Frozen there the rest of the winter.
It's this is funny. It's like, I don't know if it's funny or not, but it's middle of summer. It's like hot as hell, at least for us. And yeah, you just look over, you're like, and you kind of do like a double take. You're like, don't see that every day. Just a straight up, moose's head or elk head or something. I don't even know.
Oh, Jesus.
You can't even help but just like, I'm just staring at it. I'm just like waiting for my kids to just get like, get one glimpse at it. But they never really seemed to have an issue, honestly. Like we just kind of kept going, but I was like, really? Like, is that, they're very proud about it, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyways, enough about the dead animals on my street. So things are pretty good. This kind of drives some sort of
duty. I mean, I just think, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was I always looked up to my dad because he was always a man's man.
Yeah.
He always did what he had to do to support his family.
Has he passed on?
We were fortunate. No, he's still alive.
Oh, okay.
We were very fortunate to where we were like the modern, back in the days, like the modern family. Like my mom was a stay-at-home mom.
Mm-hmm.
My dad did what he had to do. Like when we moved out to New York, he got laid off like 3 or 4 times from GM.
Yeah.
It was up and down, but they still continued to pay for him to go to college for a skilled trade. And I watched that man work 3-4 part-time jobs.
Yeah.
To support it. I mean, he literally delivered papers. He worked at the Poughkeepsie Journal as a security guard.
Mm-hmm.
And then to make even more money on the side, he went and delivered papers to the paper boys.
Yeah.
And he worked at an Italian family's machine shop on the side as well. And then he had a few other jobs, and it was just like he did what he had to do to support his family.
And how many kids? How many brothers,
2.
sisters do you have?
I got a younger brother.
Yeah.
He's 4 years younger than me.
Yeah. And did you, like, I'm very curious because you're obviously speaking about this in a very certain way, very admirable way. Seems to have taught you a bit about, work ethic and things like that.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Was that your sort of understanding of it as it was happening, or were you like, why isn't he ever here? Like, I'm very curious about that.
No. I mean, the thing is he did that. Plus he went to college full time.
Yeah.
So when he wasn't working, he'd be up in the bedroom locked away at a drafting table. Yeah. Doing his schematics and different stuff for different machine parts, and 3D and this and that. And he got a 4.0. He's on the dean's list.
Wow.
you know. So that's just the way I was raised, and that's the way I was expected to be.
So is he kind of like, I mean, he's obviously working with his hands in the trades, but is he also like kind of techie as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Holy crap, jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I mean, he got us our first computer.
Yeah.
It was really funny is that right before we moved back to Michigan, I was going to be in 8th grade. Mm-hmm. And they had one of those traveling door salesmen. It was like some young college girl. And for Encyclopedia Britannica.
Oh, classic. Yeah.
So between my mom and dad, this girl talked him into, and my dad's always one of those guys where you go big or go home, right? Mm-hmm. So he got the whole Encyclopedia Britannica, leather bound, gold trim. Mm-hmm. And it came, and he got all the bonus classic novels too, like another whole set.
Yeah.
Of like everything from Plato to a sauce, just the whole gambit of classic works, leather bound, right, in shrink wrap. We get those things. We get news that there's a position open in New York or back in Michigan. So we come back home, unpack all those, and like a year later, between my 8th grade and freshman year of high school, he gets was it Hewlett Packard?
Oh yeah.
It was Hewlett Packard. There was another one. It was like a cow. It looked like a freaking cow on the side. It was like an emblem.
A Gateway? Gateway used to be a
Gateway.
Cow. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gateway. He got a Gateway computer.
Yeah.
And that thing came with the friggin' CD of this. And a color printer.
Yeah, which is amazing to think that like the CD-ROM of the encyclopedia was the thing that was gonna, be the superior thing. And now we think about that going like, they're all out of date. Like they instantly that they print them. Do they still have those?
We still got them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's got to be
because he got it from like when he worked at the newspaper, they had like these huge metal containers or like shelves, right? Yeah. They all interstack on top of each other. The things weigh a ton.
I'll bet.
And they have like big glass cabinet drawers you could lift up and push in, or pull out and set down. They seal.
Yeah.
Like, we've still got that whole. I mean, you open those things up and you could smell that leather. Just
I actually want it.
Most of the classic novels are still in shrink wrap. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm taking those someday.
Did you ever use them for like school or anything, or like research projects?
Briefly, for like 1 year.
When you got them.
We moved back between 7th and 8th grade. I ended my 7th grade year. Mm-hmm. By the end of the summer, we got news we were moving. So when I moved back to Michigan, they were already a year into the school year. Yeah. So I used them for that year. Mm-hmm. Like any projects I had, I was able to use them.
Yeah.
The next year, we got the friggin' computer.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I loved, like, what was it? Do you remember, like, getting it in the house? Like, what were the first things that you did with it? I remember, like, when we got a computer, I remember my dad bringing it home, and it was definitely supposed to be for like, homework and stuff and word processing. We got the printer with, like, the shreds on the tracks on the side with, like, a dot matrix printer. But we had a friend across the street. We had a family friend that my dad's the kind of guy who, like, he'll just stop and go, like, he'll find something just based on whatever the person is either wearing or driving or whatever, and go like, I know something about that. And he just goes up and talks to him like, hey, I like your trailer. I'll just talk to you about your RV or whatever. And so he had a friend across the street who worked for like the local telecoms company, which meant that he was a genius with computers. And then there's another guy down the street who gave us all his counterfeit games, all his bootleg games of Commander Keen on computer and stuff. But anyways, the first thing that we saw, we fired up this computer, and the first thing was a terrible version of Pac-Man, actually, as it turns out. But I remember that very vividly thinking like, what even is this thing? Where did it come from? And I guess now we're playing Pac-Man with this keyboard. Okay. This is interesting. It seemed like the Atari version of it. Like instead of dots, it was like lines.
Yep. Mm-hmm. One of the first things my dad brought home Wolfenstein.
Oh my gosh, yes.
On the not the massive, what size were they called? What size were they? 3.5-inch floppies, the hard plastic ones.
5 1/4, I think, were the black ones.
Okay,
and then,
there's the 3.5.
I think, with the small plastic ones. Yeah.
He brought home I think it came like on 1 or 2 of those.
Yeah, it's like 1.44 megabytes. Those things.
Yes.
It's
and then
wild.
The next game he brought home was Doom.
Yeah.
And then there was another one
because you had shareware versions. You had like basically they were like demo, and then you can like buy the rest of the game.
We had the full version.
Yeah. Oh man,
and we played them. Like he got a copy from our buddy at work or whatever at GM, and he brought those home, and then he brought home another some classic pilot game. It was like this old time.
Was it Flight Simulator or like a fighter game?
It was I think it was based off an old guy that was literally an old flying ace in some war. Oh, cool. And you could go all the way through from like the biplanes up to, at the time, like the modern jet fighters, and you'd fight Nazis or whoever else they were fighting in those games. Yeah, all the time. I friggin' loved it. Oh my gosh! And of course, it was like, for me, it was an inverter because you pushed down. Thank you. The down arrow to go up. Yes. And pushed it to like it took me a little bit to get used to. But it was like real. Like if you had a joystick. Yes, we did. Plane. Yeah, that's exactly what you had to do. That was the thing I think we upgraded the most on our computer was the joystick situation. Because we were always trying to find, like, I don't know about you, but like we were having game pads and joysticks way before USB was a thing, and so like. That means it was super unreliable. Like people, like you plug something into USB and it just works, and you're like, the computer goes like, I know exactly what that is. I'm gonna go download the drivers for you. Everything works like perfect. Like no, you need to like shut the computer down, plug it in, wait the 14 minutes for the damn thing to boot up, and then hope that it actually recognizes the gamepad or whatever. So yeah, like see, that's what I always wanted. I always wanted a gamepad.
Yeah, and a Gravis gamepad, computer, man,
because we had. From the day we got our NES, and you got that first controller, because the Ataris, you always had some sort of joystick. Yep. You either had that one with the buttons on the two sides, or the square one with the tall one, like the OG one. Yep. The button on top. Yeah, and then you got the NES. I was like, oh wow, I got the D-pad. That's so much better. Yeah. And it was like, oh, at first you're like, what the heck is this? And you realize, oh, this is a lot better than that joystick.
Definitely. For the most part, like there, if you're playing, a lot of what I remember playing back then was a lot of flying games. Like we played like there was a lot of helicopter games, like an Apache game I remember playing, and like a lot of Star Wars stuff. Star Wars was like was a huge one, X-wing and TIE Fighter and stuff like that. Yeah. So Mech Warrior, a lot of like whether you're flying or you're like driving a giant mech or whatever, you're always doing something. But I think when you got on like the ground, it didn't make sense to be using, or at least for me, it didn't make sense to be using a joystick for like Doom or Wolfenstein. Yeah. That was somehow it made more sense to be using a keyboard for that. But yeah, once you got into USB land, it was like, okay, this is actually, like, I remember reading in PC Gamer about how many devices you could connect with USB, because you could just have like hubs after hubs after hubs. They would just like keep going on and on forever. Yeah. And yeah, like, it's fun to remember when things weren't as easy, but at the same time, like, I wouldn't want to really go back. Like, it's fun to think about it because we didn't know any different, but we know way better now. It'd be hard to go back, man.
I remember my first video game, the first computer game I ever played, was back in elementary school. When we first moved out to New York, I think it was in third grade, and was like, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Oh, dude, Where in Time wins Carmen Sandiego. That's one we had, and it was impossible. Like, I didn't know how to beat most of these games. Like, beating games, completing a game, not a thing.
Before that, it was Carmen Sandiego and Oregon Trail.
Oh, Chelsea loves that. I never got that one. I never had that one.
And they had the big, each computer station. There was me. It was you and a friend in computer class. It was like first computer class with the old Macs. And you had this huge 3-ring binder. Yep. And it had like 20 friggin' of those big black floppy disks in it. Yeah. And you do it a little bit and be like, okay, take out blah blah blah. So you'd have to take that one out, put it in slot 1. Pull up the one for slot 2, stick it in. Wild too? Yeah, even while the computer was on, you'd open up the slot and pull the disc out. That's right. Put the next disc in, and then hit enter or the space bar or something. Oh, you're totally right. Yeah, way before Final Fantasy VII. That's so true. So it's like you started playing those for the first computer games we played. It was like, holy crap. And they were all written on DOS, and which is weird because when I got into high school, our school finally got a computer lab. And we started out with Windows 3.1. Yeah. And DOS. Yeah, man. So we could they were still teaching computer programming basic computer programming, in my freshman year of high school.
Yeah. I feel like if you had to interface with DOS at all, you were basically like learning how to like you were speaking a language. To navigate through DOS, like you weren't like clicking on anything. It was like you kind of had to think in your mind how this worked, like what your hierarchy of your folders was and everything, or how you'd rename it. Like you'd have to know. It was like I didn't think I've ever really put this together, but it was kind of like one of those like text RPGs where you like tell like look at watch or like grab this, like go up. Like that's what DOS was like. Like CD,
but I want to say
whatever.
It was like we had that at first, and then by the time we graduated, I think they'd updated to where they kind of like they got rid of DOS.
Yeah,
it was like Windows 97, I think is what it was.
Yeah,
the year I graduated.
Was there a 97? There's 95. 95 and
97.
Yeah. I'm just going to say yes.
95 first.
Yeah, 95 and then 98.
I graduated, we stopped. They no longer had DOS. I don't think you really had access to it.
Yeah, and unless you're a power user,
we
you
had
get back
DOS,
in there.
And it was 95, and then it was 97.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, it's just wild to think about. Now we're whatever. Now we got these phones that are more powerful than the rockets that go to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
It's good stuff, man. Well, where did I feel like we're doing like a Pulp Fiction kind of version of your story, which I'm really enjoying. You mentioned before about 40 minutes ago that you were athletic, you're playing the football, you're doing all the things.
Yeah.
Where did that all kind of take a turn to now we're kind of in a situation where you're looking at this procedure?
I was following my dad's footsteps except for the military thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a person that I set goals and I reach them. I took time away from college to start working at a factory in our area.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to go here. I'm going to start out and I'm going to get into skill trades. And I did. 2 years, I took a test and they offered 3 spots and I got one of them. And I took pipe fitting.
Yep.
I was like 20, 21. And I went from making not a lot to like damn near $30 an hour.
Yeah, man.
I went and friggin' bought myself a new pickup. I bought myself a house.
Yeah.
And then 3 months later, I got my pink slip.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
was that pretty typical? Was that a lot of people kind of having a similar road? Was it the economy? What happened?
It was early 2000s.
Okay.
And the economy went to hell, especially the auto industry.
Yeah.
There was like 12 different factories up in my area that were closing.
Wow.
Luckily, I have an agricultural background.
Mm-hmm.
And I went back to work for some farmer friends and I was collecting unemployment and cash under the table, so I was getting by. But then, winter comes and, so I got into a foundry and they were playing the deal where 90 days to make the union, 89th day I worked a double.
Yeah.
They laid me off the end of the shift.
Oh, wow.
So
oh
I kept looking for jobs openings and everything was either medical field or truck driving.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I have, I'm used to driving tractors and big equipment, payloaders and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, well, my cousin had started driving truck. He worked at the factory with me. When he got a CDL a few months previous. We talked. I'm like, okay, well, I'll go to the school and I'll get my CDL and we'll team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm just going to do this for a year or two. And here we go, 27 years later.
A year or 3 decades.
Yeah, pretty much.
Speaking of like adaptability, man, like just that, I think that's a pretty good encapsulation of that. You move all over the country as a kid growing up, and then you do what you got to do to like, I guess I'll be a trucker now. Like I was planning on doing this, but sure, what was even like learning how to drive a truck like?
Well, like I said, I had a little bit of a background where I drove
can't be exactly the same though. It's got to be a little different.
I drove myself to driver's ed. In high school.
Like in a truck? Oh, okay, for a car.
I've been driving.
That makes sense. That makes sense to me. Yeah. If you're growing up in a place where you're driving a tractor all over the place, like that kind of, I feel that's kind of part of the gig.
And I'd driven some like tandems and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Now, I never driven a full 18-wheeler.
Well, that's the jump I'm trying to get to here, dude.
it's just
It's like a tractor 18-wheeler, you know, they basically, you know.
It's amazingly common sense.
Sure.
You got to have common sense when you're driving this stuff.
Is there like a truck simulator game out there? I feel like there's got to be something like that. Like
Schneider had an actual simulator.
Yeah.
It's like you climbed in this box and you had this big window in front of you, and it was
you'd
like
have
driving
to.
an 18-wheeler.
Yeah.
I never did that, but they actually helped. They worked alongside NASA and stuff building their simulators.
Mm-hmm,
so
what was it? It reminds me of my when Chelsea and I got married. We got married in Florida, and what her wedding present, part of it was she sent me to NASA for a day at space camp and stuff.
Sweet.
It was so cool, man. And you know, you said simulator, and it reminded me of what they put us through, which was like basically a video game. Like they called it like, you're gonna go in the simulator, and it was not a NASA simulator. It was a joystick and a video game, and you had to kind of land the shuttle safely and like according to the right speed and angle, blah blah blah. But it was basically like a flight simulator game. So I'm like, I got this, and they said there's a competition for this. Whoever scores the best score landing the shuttle gets to be like the commander, like the main dude in the whole like simulation that they're gonna do later. So there's this whole group. Everybody gets a different role. There's like this person's on comms, and this is like the co-pilot or whatever. And I got to be the commander because I scored so well on this video game. I'm like, yes, I love that simulators are basically video games. This is amazing. But in any case, I want to know about this. Like, do you remember like your first day, like in a truck? Like they go, okay, like here you go.
Oh, with a teacher, instructor?
Sure. Yeah. I wouldn't even know when that would be. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, there was I think there was 3 of us in a truck. There'd be like the instructor would be in the passenger seat, you'd be in the driver's seat, and then you'd have like 1 or 2 guys in the bunk watching you drive. And
are like nerves running high, or are you like you're pretty like level kind of dude, I think.
I never really had any fear of it.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Well, I mean, with the instructor in there, I'm not worried.
You've taken lives before.
Yeah.
What's a truck? What's a truck?
It's when you get to when you're out there by yourself.
Right.
Is when it gets really scary. Like once I was done to schooling, I aced the schooling. I literally, it was like a 400 question test.
Yeah.
I think I got all of them right.
Yeah.
And then I went to take my state training, my CDL, get my actual license and stuff, and I aced all that too. Like,
are you studying hard, or does this stuff just come so naturally to you?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a conjunction of both, I'd have to say.
Well, I mean, you just called it common sense, I guess, so it's part of my answer there. Yeah.
It's just to me, it's just so basic.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it comes with you're learning something new every day.
Sure.
Even after 20 years plus, I still see some stuff. I did 16 years over the road.
Yeah.
I've hit every state except for Hawaii.
Yeah.
In a tractor trailer. I hit Alaska twice.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I lived out in Portland, Oregon after my divorce.
Yeah, right next door.
3.5 years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I guess you're still on that side. Yeah. What's so you're learning something new every day? Like how, like, man, I can't even imagine. It's long hours, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But like you probably get yourself into and got to get yourself out of some pretty tricky situations as well.
There have been a few times where when I was done, I cried.
Oh, really?
It's just nerve wracking. Like out west and like in the mountains and stuff, you're sitting on top of a mountain. And when you're going up it, there's no chain warning or anything or snow warning in effect. And you get up top and everything's just a dead stop. And it's all iced over. And you're in line with a few hundred other people.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden you start sliding.
Oh, my God.
There's nothing you can do. You just try to direct it to the curb, like the shoulder, to hit some snow to get some traction to stop before you hit somebody. Because I mean, it's literally like an avalanche of vehicles running up on top of some of these mountains,
and it's
the
just
ice hits like that. And there's no place to put chains on. I mean, by this point you're done. If they tell you to put the chains on at the bottom of the mountain, you're good to go.
Yeah,
but once you get to the top and this freak snowstorm is hit, and the same thing happened on Donner Pass before. It's just
so. Is it kind of the places this sort of thing can happen?
Oh yeah.
Place, time of year, and you're kind of like, well, going to be a pretty shitty day at work today.
Well, yeah, a lot of the states out west there, it's like you got to have snow chains on snow chains on your person or in your vehicle from October or November to like April or May.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like 6 years, half the year you got to have chains on. You know, I mean, they could in middle of July they could just like pull you into a way station and say, "Well, where's your chains at?"
Yeah.
You know, and if you don't have them or if they're in bad condition, you're getting a ticket.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, really, it's in your best interest to have them. Like, there's the law, but then also like probably a good idea.
You can always keep them on you.
Yeah. You know? No kidding. Holy cow. Have you ever, like, I don't even know if I want to know, like, some of the bad situations, but man, you've generally stayed safe, I imagine?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I did my best. Yeah, I had by the time I retired from driving over the road, I had almost 2 million safe miles.
Yeah. You're retired then?
From over the road.
What does that mean?
I don't drive out of the state anymore.
Oh, okay.
I drive local now.
Okay, yeah.
I stay right in that. When I quit driving 7 or 8 years ago, and I moved back to Michigan.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not driving no more. I don't want to do it because it's just so hard to have a life.
Yeah.
I mean, I went through a marriage, multiple relationships, and it's just so depressing. Like after my divorce, man, I contemplated suicide.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I was almost there. I almost pulled the trigger, and I didn't. But then I decided to eat myself to death.
Yeah.
You know, I gained 75 pounds within 6 months. It was just bad. And then I met somebody online, and they're like, "Oh, you know, I'm divorced, and blah blah blah. Why don't you come out here?" So I moved out to Portland. I get out there, and come to find out she's still friggin' married. You know, and it's just like, why?
Yeah.
Why would you do this to somebody?
One after another.
You know, and even in between there, though, it's like, oh yeah, I can date a truck driver. I'm like, you don't realize I'm gone all the time.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, do you know what you're signing up for?
Yeah. You know, and everybody's like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. And eventually, within 6 months, they don't talk to you as much. You know, and they find somebody else. And
yeah. Because how long would you be out for?
If I had somebody at home, a couple weeks at a time.
Yeah, just
living
out of the truck, like sleeping in the back. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I did lawn. I mean, the good thing is a lot of these facilities, they have like lawn. Like the company I worked for, we had yards all over the country, and they all had free showers, free laundry, TV rooms. Most of them had cafeterias, you know, or places you could order stuff to, you know, so that wasn't bad. If you get out in the middle of nowhere, a lot of the truck stops, they'd have similar stuff, and you usually got points on your card for getting fuel there. Yeah. So you get a free shower. You might have to pay $5 or $6 to do laundry if you needed to.
Which like all sounds nice, but like, yeah, it's still on top of the fact of like what your life is like.
Oh yeah. When I first started driving, it's like, oh wow, the cab of this truck is huge. Look at all this room. 16 years later, it's like, Jesus.
Yeah, the walls are coming in.
You know, occasionally, like I take the ex-wife would come out with me. Yeah. You know, for a couple weeks or whatever. But once I got divorced, I still owned my own truck at that time. I'd stay out 3-4 months at a time. I'd stay out longer if my mom wasn't crawling and crying.
Yeah. Just seeing you. Holy cow, man. Whew. That's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
So now you're doing good, though? You're okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good. I'm in a lot better place now.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to forgive. That was actually my fiance's doing there. Because my ex-wife and I, we tried having kids. Yeah. And for years. And I went through all the tests, and it was me. And I think a lot of it was my size and my job. You know, I want to say it was like probably around 500 pounds. Yeah. Then, and the doctor said it was my fault. You know, because it wasn't long. It's like she cheated on me, and she ended up getting pregnant. So obviously, it wasn't her.
Yeah.
You know, but we ended up. When Amy and I got together. We got engaged. And like 4 months after we got engaged, she's like, I'm pregnant. And I'm like,
wow.
it ain't mine.
Oh, really?
I thought that.
Like, okay, okay, yeah.
No, it's because I was told for years. But the thing is, though, is I went from when I quit driving truck over the road, I was over 600 pounds.
Wow.
And then I got down to 500, or slightly under. And because I was having a life, I wasn't in the truck all day. I was out doing stuff. I was active.
Yeah.
Just doing that, I lost a bunch of weight. And evidently that's what I needed.
Yeah.
I mean, wasn't setting
makes
all
sense.
Day. Yeah. So
then the decision to go to, okay, now this procedure, were you like, it seemed like you were maybe making some progress, and the conversations you guys were having were you giving up on the what you were trying to do? Like, where did you finally pull the trigger on that?
She seen my friends this last summer when we were camping, and she looked at me and she says, and then I also had a work party where one of my drivers, his wife had it years ago, and she seen the results that she had.
Yeah.
And she was like, maybe this is what you need to do.
Yeah. What did that mean to just have that kind of support, like that, almost like a green light on that? I was gung ho. Yeah. I got back from vacation. I called my doctor. I got the referral set up. And I started doing the calls with them, like Zoom calls and this and that. Now, that's what was happening this past summer? Like that was about 6 months ago or so?
Up until October and stuff. I started doing the Zoom calls and the meetings and this and that. I had to have a bunch of, it's a whole checkerboard.
I'll bet.
Of list of stuff. It's not a good thing. Because my BMI was so high, I didn't have to go through a whole 6 month weight loss thing for it. If I could have gotten in sooner, I could have had the surgery already.
Because there's an urgency behind it?
That's the weird thing, is that other than my weight, I'm perfectly healthy.
Yeah.
I don't have high blood pressure. Yeah. I don't have diabetes. I'm not even close to diabetic.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I took a stress test. And I'm so competitive. They're like, I'm on this treadmill and they keep inclining it. And they're like, well, you're at 60%. You really don't need to do anymore. I'm like, is there 100%? They're like, well, you could. So I'm like, crank it up. Yeah. And I got to 100%. They're like, okay, you can stop. I'm like, no, let's go for 105.
That is wild, man. Oh my gosh.
And it's just like, I've always been, I'm active at my job. Yeah. Nothing, my weight has never really stopped me from doing anything to a point.
Do you think about like what it's going to be like? Like, do you picture, do you visualize?
Yeah. I have a mental picture, and I don't know if I'll ever get there. I usually exceed my goals I set.
Yeah.
I do have a mental image of what I want to look like. Like, as a doctor told me, he's like, okay, well, you're at this weight right now. He goes, you'll probably get down to around 300 and then gain 15 of it back. So you'll end up at 315. I'm like, that's not going to work for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once I get down to the weight where I can start running again and doing different stuff, as long as my left knee holds out. There's a little gym here in town. There's 3 different workout facilities in my town. One does Pilates and one is like a normal little gym.
Yeah, get it, man.
I plan on getting on that Stairmaster thing again, because that was like my arch nemesis when I first started at Planet Fitness. Was that damn stair treadmill.
Oh, dude, I can't even.
And by the time we got done, I was doing like a half hour of that at a time.
Wow. That's got to be one of the most challenging. It's because it's like you have to make sure that you're watching where you're stepping, man. Like, you really got to pay attention. You can't really like go, I don't know, if you go for a walk on a treadmill or jog or whatever, like you can kind of like just zone out for a little bit. I feel like with this Stepmaster or whatever, like you really have to focus. One wrong move and you are ass over tea kettle and all scraped up from those things.
I was usually pretty good at that. I have a little thing. I set my phone on there and watch Netflix or something.
Yeah, good on you,
while I'm doing it. But I mean, I wouldn't have it like maxed out for speed or nothing.
Sure, but I was
a steady.
Steps and
climb.
stories. Holy cow. Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
What about life? Like, do you think about how you'll look, but what about like things you'll be able to do, or like just moving around and clothes you mentioned before? Like everything changes.
I can't wait for it to be easier.
Yeah.
To get around, because I'm so used to this. It doesn't really. I know it's gonna be an eye opener.
Yeah.
Once I can physically start seeing it in the mirror, and then when I start being able to chase my kids around easier.
Yep.
Especially my youngest one, because she's a little hellion.
Yeah.
Climbing the steps.
How
up
old
to
again?
Put her to bed. She's 5, and the oldest is 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Every night I do. I read a book to the youngest, and then we do Itsy Bitsy Spider, where I'll like rub her arm, do itsy bitsies, do the thing twice, and I rub her leg 4 times and her back 4 times, because she's like, Daddy, you got to do 5 and 5 itsy bitsies. She's like, that's 2 on my arm, 4 on my leg, and 4 on my back. I'm like, come on, can't Daddy just do 5? She's like, no, 5 and 5. That's 10.
Negotiating.
So I read her a book, bedtime story, and then I do that. So
what do you think your kids will say? Like, it'll be pretty. It's like some kids freak out when their dad, shaves a mustache off.
Yeah. Well, they've all watched me go through it, and I keep trying to explain to Harper what it's going to be like. And I keep trying to explain to her, because she is an Amazonian.
Yeah.
I mean, she is 5 years old.
Yeah.
And she is already half her mother's height.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she looks like she's damn near the size of her sister.
Wow. Yeah.
And she's 5.
Mm-hmm.
When she was 3, we went up north to my cousin's graduation party, and another cousin of mine was in from Texas. Mm-hmm. And I'm like holding her. I'm like, Jesus, you were heavy, kid. I'm going to put her down. And she's like, my cousin's like, she's not that heavy. And I went to hand her to her. Mm-hmm. And I held on as I was letting the weight go, because that's a shock, right? Yeah. And as I let go fully, she like bowed with her, and she's like, this kid is solid.
Yeah, man.
And she'll run up to you, and she could damn near tackle me.
The low center of gravity and everything, man.
Like, she got her little legs going. She is a big kid. That's, and I'm like, best. I'm trying to explain to her, because she loves to eat.
Yeah.
Okay, she's a prime.
Yeah.
And it's like, sweetheart, we got to stop that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to eat as much as your sister, because your sister's twice your age.
Yeah.
She is growing seriously tall.
Yeah.
It's not good to be as big as Daddy.
Yeah.
We don't want Daddy's working hard to get rid of this. Mm-hmm. You don't need to idolize Daddy in that respect.
Yeah. Yeah.
I told her, I said, as soon as Daddy has the surgery and Daddy can start working out again, I said, we're going to start going for walks. We're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing that. We're all going to watch what we eat. And
how much of this is like, how much of them do you think of when doing something like this? Is that like everything? Like, I feel like
because
kids change everything, man.
Yeah, it was, because like I said before, after my divorce, I really didn't give a shit. If I died, I died. I didn't care. But then finding Amy and her daughter, having people depend on me.
Yeah.
And then having my own daughter, I want to be able to walk these girls down the aisle.
There it is.
Or at least see it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Unfortunately, I had Harper at a lot older age in life. Nowhere near as young as I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be around to see my grandkids. I don't know if I'll be around to see her graduate.
Yeah.
But I'd like to be.
Mm-hmm.
And even though my heart is good, blood pressure, all that's perfect, being this heavy cannot be good.
Yeah.
It's going to come a time, like right now, I'm having issues with my knees. Mm-hmm. I'm climbing in and out of the truck for it. I think a big part of it is clutching for over 20 years.
No doubt. Yeah.
I think my left knee is getting shot from that, because
mm-hmm.
I'm so much happier in an automatic.
Yeah. You've done your time with a standard.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it's got to be better.
Yeah.
Unless it's one of those freak accidents where I get hit by a fucking bus.
No, don't even put it out there in the universe. Oh my gosh. But I'm with you, man. Like, I feel like you and I are similar in that way. Like, let's just throw a little dark humor into this and get us through.
You know, it's like as I've survived all this time being obese, and then I lose all the weight, and I'm walking across a crosswalk, and I get.
I am not adding to this at all. I'm. When is the day? What did you say? February 8th? We're coming up on it.
Yep, February 8th. I had my I told you about my weigh-in today, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I had that today. Saturday, the 5th, I got to go into the hospital and they got to test me for antibodies.
Yeah.
And then the 8th is the surgery. They're only allowing one person in there with me at the time of the surgery.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they'll let my parents in because after the surgery to at least see me because they're coming down from up north. They rented a hotel room for the week.
Yeah.
To help out if we need it.
Oh, that's nice. That's good.
I'm not sure how. I've heard different things. I've heard that it's not bad after the surgery. Then I've heard it's horrible after the surgery. So that
I would be out. I would be like telling everybody, everybody just like, sayonara, man. I will see you when I see you, man.
Oh, I've already told them. I've got 6 weeks off work because they're saying that's how long it's going to take me to.
I'll bet.
Fully, if I had a desk job, I could go back to work within a week or so.
Yeah.
But pulling myself in and out of the truck with having the
man. Do what
staples
you need
and stuff.
Get healthy. Yeah. Get your recovery in. It's important. Yeah. I feel like that's as much time as moms get off of work when they have a baby. It's like 6 weeks later, they're back at work. Mm-hmm. That is nuts. You know, people get like 18 months here.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, you get like a year and a half if you want it. Mat leave. Yeah, man.
It wouldn't be bad if you're getting paid.
Yeah, it's a portion, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But
oh
well, I'll be thinking of you, man.
I appreciate it.
It's gonna be pretty transformational to say the least.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I wanted to chat with you before it all happened, and then as soon as you're up for it afterwards, dude. Like I want updates, man.
I'll be giving updates.
Yeah.
You know, plan on as soon as I can start seeing it.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna do a series of photos.
Mm-hmm.
We just had a whole family picture taken right before the holidays.
Yeah.
So I got that picture.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have one the day of the surgery. I want to do like a flip book.
That's what I was thinking when we saying all those pictures. Yeah.
You know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like it, dude. Well, yeah. Let's. I want to have you back afterwards. Do you want to talk about why you have the microphone? Do you want, or do you want to save that?
What's that?
You're picking up the microphone maybe for a reason. You want to save that for next time? You think about starting a little something? Yeah.
Oh, I love the friggin' podcast eventually.
Yeah.
You know,
I had it for something that you want to chat about today, but we'll have part 2.
Okay.
We'll have. Are you going to stay with TruckerSloth? I feel like by the way, TruckerSloth is like such a great name. Like that's got to be like just a handle forever, even if you're driving trucks or not. Like my
nickname was Sloth since 8th grade when I moved back to Michigan, and I became popular. I friggin' loved high school.
Yeah, but
my parents became Sloth's parents. You know, and then I started driving truck. You know, a few like 5 or 6 years after graduation. And I came home one time, one of my neighbors was like, "Oh, it's TruckerSloth."
That's the best.
And I was like, it kind of like
clicks.
What? You know, so I started playing games on Facebook and stuff, and like, "Oh, TruckerSloth," we like the exact chat, and like this and that.
So jealous, man. I just use my name everywhere because I can't think of anything better. And I thought I had something else that I will not be disclosing. People who know and whatever. I wish I had just a sweet like online handle, and I just don't. I just have my name, my stupid name that my parents stupid gave me. But yeah, Trucker. I've always liked it right from the moment I first heard it. It's like that jumped out.
I've always had a nickname because it's like when I came, I was in kindergarten when the Transformers came out.
Nice. Yep.
Last name Prime.
Oh yeah.
Optimus.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was called that for years, and then it became Sloth. It was real funny is that Harper is the first Prime girl in like 3 generations to be born.
Yeah.
Amy had the idea because we had like 20 boys' names picked out,
mm-hmm.
but no matter what, he was going to have 2 middle names. And the last one was going to be Optimus.
Yeah.
And that was her idea.
I love it.
And then we went to the ultrasound. Like, oh, yeah, you're having a girl. I'm like,
Optimus. Where's my Optimus?
I was like, really? I mean, I was happy. I was elated. She was, healthy and stuff. But I was like, really?
Dude, you know what? I think for the next time too, I'm going to make a note here too. We're going to talk about Transformers as well because I'm ordering some of that IDW comic stuff. I'm going to get into that as well. Big time.
Comics, dude. Comics.
Oh, there you go. We're already just like jotting down. We've got actually a thing. I've got like you know what? This is Rybo's favorite part of the podcast is when I just go grab something random from the shelf over here. Like, I don't think I've ever really like shared this. Chelsea and I got this when we were in New York Comic Con in 2012. It's a Cybertron Class of '85. It's like this.
Wow.
It looks like a giant like book, and you open it.
Looks like an omnibus.
Yeah, and it's like almost like Lego toys. Like they're toys.
Oh,
they're like
really?
a bunch of Legos, and it's a whole bunch of like. Yeah, all these different,
all the different characters.
Yeah, Astro Train, Beachcomber, Autobot Blaster, Blitzwing. Yeah, this thing's awesome, dude.
Those are
Kickback. Yeah, these are wicked.
Excellent.
Yeah,
I still my parents have a half garage full of all my stuff yet.
That's the best. Yeah, if you're able to like if you grew up in a place where your parents have enough space to keep your stuff, oh man,
it's all in the garage.
Stuff. Yeah,
I was supposed to get out this summer. It never happened because I got a shed out here. I still got to friggin' go through and organize it so I can put my stuff home.
Yeah.
But the thing is I got to have room in here because my comic books are not staying outside.
Yeah.
They got, and I've got a couple thousand.
Oh snap! Okay. Well, look, man. Let's cut it here. I want to have you back on. We're gonna talk about the going under. What that's all like. The new journey. Transformers and comics, man. We got it all sorted.
Good to me.
That's
I love comics.
Yeah, we had about
comics were my life for years.
2 months away from. I mean, I have a feeling we'll probably chat before then, but
we'll
record a little something.
Yeah.
After that, man. Hey, man, thanks for being awesome. Thanks for being open and chatting with me tonight, dude, and for all the support, everything, man. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, you're great. Thanks, man.
Do you want to let people know where to find you all over the internet?
Search TruckerSloth, you'll find me.
Yeah, I want you to. I was kind of hoping for like a TruckerSloth 69 or something in there, but you're just keeping it classy.
I can go change it real quick.
You're keeping it classy. It's probably not for the best. Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
You too, man.
A ton of things happening over the weekend. Kind of sports and sports entertainment related that I know very little about, but a lot of things to get excited about. And I am loving watching other people get excited about the things that they get excited about. Canada just beat America in a World Cup qualifying match, and people across the country are going nuts. Rafael Nadal, I think that's how you say the tennis player. He did he set like a record. I think he's got like 21 Grand Slams. He's the first dude to ever do that, which is insane. A whole bunch of football stuff. Nobody's happy about wrestling. I'm sorry to say, there's all this good stuff, and then like wrestling, like Royal Rumble happens, and everybody's pissed. I think that's just a. I feel like because I saw the Ronda Rousey thing. I think Brock Lesnar won. Spoilers. So. I think that's if you're a wrestling fan, your curse is to just be more often disappointed than elated, I think. But there is that pull every once in a while. You get it. But that's just being a fan of stuff, I think. Sometimes games are good, sometimes games are not so good. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Bunch of football. There's a ton of football that happened this weekend. People getting really excited about it, and I love to see it. As I record this right now, the 49ers are playing the Rams. And I know more 49ers fans than I don't even, where are the Rams? Are they in LA? Is that where they went to? They used to be St. Louis. Poor St. Louis. When a sports team leaves, what does this have to do with anything I was even talking about before? Nothing. Zero. This is kind of how it works sometimes here, guys, on We the GamerCast. Thank you guys so much for listening, for supporting patreon.com/YumiKapri. If you like this, if you haven't already done it yet, please go over there. If you do at the $1, we'd love you at the $3 to get all the exclusive content. You get way more stuff But even $1, I appreciate you guys very much. Even if you're not, even if you're just listening, I appreciate you very much. It's all good. I need to get back to God of War, because that game has my heart. Pokemon has my heart. Dying Light is coming out very soon. I'm going to be getting back in shape here. I'm about as out of shape as I've ever been right now. Like in this moment, this is it. But I'm motivated. I'm feeling better. I'm going to hydrate. I'm going to stretch. I'm going to push it to the limit. The limit! You got it. We end the show with this weird bit from Heavy Rain from the PS3 game from 2009 or something. I don't even know. I hope you guys are great. We'll see you next week. Enjoy all the rest of the content, the Xbox Drive, the Nintendo Drive, and all the rest. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Jason! 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 Sean! 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 Sean, where are you? Jason! 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 Sean! 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 Jason! 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 Jason!